guess not.
Viewers have already been treated to the 3 episodes of the latest season of Legends of Tomorrow. With 12 left to go in the season, let's take a look at what has already happened in the show. DC fans will know that this series is set in the Arrowverse and is a spin-off of Arrow and The Flash. This show premiered on May 2nd this year on CW. DC Entertainment, Warner Bros. And Berlanti Productions are the ones producing the show, and Kido Shimizu and Phil Klemmer are showrunners for Legends of Tomorrow. Principal photography took place in British Columbia in Burnaby. The season was ordered in 2020 and production started in October of that year, with it wrapping in mid-2021. Before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new videos that we post. So to get everybody up to speed, here's a quick rundown of the events that played out in the end of the last season. The Legends had to go to the Loom of Fate so that they could track down their dead allies. Otherwise, the world would have succumbed to total mind control. Now, as if that wasn't enough, the crew of the Wave Rider now has to save history from space aliens. Poor co-captains Sarah Lance and Ava Sharp have already had to battle against monsters, visitors, and hell and time glitches. Okay, here's our rundown of the returning cast members. Kaylee Lotz as Sarah Lance, the leader of the crew. Taya Lash as Zara Tarazi, who wields an air totem. Jess McCallan as Ava Sharp, as a genetically engineered clone. Olivia Swan as Ashta Logue, who has come right out of hell. Amy Louise Pemberton as Gideon, aka Gidget, an interactive AI system that appears in holograph format. Nick Zano as Nate Haywood, a historian who could turn himself into steel. And Matt Ryan as John Constantine, a dark magician. And here's our list of recurring roles made regulars for Season 6. Adam Seckman as Gary Green, geeky former agent of the Bureau. And Shaden Sobian as Behrad Tarazi, sibling to Zara Tarazi. And brand new cast member is Lizeth Chavez as Spooner. So what's the deal with Dominic Purcell? Dominic, played by Mick Rory, a sometimes arsonist and Wave Rider. He has left the series now, announcing on Instagram in April that he would not be coming back for Series 7, other than to make the occasional appearance to honor a handshake deal he made with showrunner Phil Klemmer. Phil says that he totally understands why Dominic left the show, saying that everybody needs a break. And Dominic said himself that the deal isn't done. I have no interest, whatever cash they throw on the corporate level. I'm walking away from Legends of Tomorrow. It's been a total pleasure and a humbling experience bringing DC Comics iconic character Heatwave, aka Mick Rory, to life. I smashed this character. Not an actor in the world could have done better. I like the confidence. So sadly, fans of Dominic Purcell will not be seeing much more of him after Season 6. Okay, on to what has gone down in the 3 episodes that have been released so far. So what will happen in Episode 1? Ground control to Sarah Lance. It's London in 1977, and after a night of partying, Ava Sharp realizes that Sarah Lance is missing. Ava learns from David Bowie that Sarah is going to propose, but she was kidnapped by aliens. Bummer. Nate Haywood comes to console poor Ava. Meanwhile, John Constantine returns home with Zara Tarazi and Ashta Logue and finds a human chrysalis in Gary's room. He also finds a cool pair of glasses that can transform the wearer. Zara's sibling Behrad reads about a gal who can communicate with aliens called Esperanza Cruz. Ava sends Mick Rory and Behrad out to find this girl and bring her on board with the rest of the crew, but Mick kidnaps her. Back to unlucky Sarah, up on the spaceship where she's being detained, she manages to escape the pod that they have contained her in. Sarah frees Spartacus, but unfortunately Kayla, the ship's boss, eats him. Oh dear. Sarah launches an attack at one of the alien creeps and discovers that it is Gary. As it turns out, Gary was first sent to Earth to capture the most human-like human for their essence, which is Sarah, but after finding out about humanity and falling in love with people, he decides to help Sarah escape. Sarah knocks Kaya out of the ship and releases their containment pods into a wormhole that will send them back to Earth's containment zone. But sadly for Sarah, she doesn't quite make it to the wormhole and she starts to fall to another planet instead. Oh, and did we mention that Gary has a fiance? It's Kayla. Next up is what went down in Episode 2, Meet the Legends. This episode jumps back in time to 1955, to San Bernardino, California. Burt Beeman runs a burger joint called Big Bang Burger and Mick is there. When he hears on the police radio that there have been attacks in places that have meat, Behrad, Nate, and Zari scores the job there. Meanwhile, Sarah and Gary land on a Space Lord's home planet. After chasing a dog, they end up meeting Amelia Earhart, the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, who famously disappeared in 1937. So now we know what happened to this infamous aviator. Of course. Now back to the burger joint. It turns out they have been serving a secret sauce that is making people go crazy. The recipe belongs to Bert's wife. Meanwhile, Spooner tries to convince Sarah not to pursue Ava or else people will be lost. Ava finds a cocoon in Rhonda's attic, and it turns out that the gross stuff dripping out of the cocoon is the secret ingredient in Rhonda's sauce. Yeah. The cocoon hatches a giant alien moth that eats Rhonda and poor Bird too. Luckily, gunslinger Spooner shoots it and it dies. Zari Thomas, meanwhile, is sick of the siblings arguing over the air totem, so she splits it, meaning that they can each have one. One of the Big Bang's waitresses takes over the restaurant and renames it Big Belly Burger. Amelia Earhart attacks Sarah and Gary, who escape but are stopped by mysterious soldiers. And these are events that take place in the last episode, number 3, The X Factor. The legends leap in time to the year 2045, ending up in Hollywood. An alien by the name of Lord Noxacrelion wants to kill a DJ called S'more Money, and Legends wants to stop this. Zari ends up entering a reality TV singing competition called The Throne. Her ex-boyfriend is the judge of the show, hence why the episode is called The X Factor. Zara confides in her mother, whom she visits, that she doesn't think her romance with John Constantine will last. Unfortunately, he overhears this conversation and he walks out on her during an interview. Mick is upset by Sarah's disappearance, so Spooner and Ava try to console him. Zari and Constantine do better in singing competitions than Lord Noxacrelion, who has entered thinking that if he wins, he'll be king of the earth, which the legends tricked him into believing to stop him from invading. Mick ends up killing Lord Noxacrelion, who is in fact an alien wearing a suit, then starts his search for Kayla. Meanwhile, an injured Sarah ends up back at a clone base where she meets a man who says she's been waiting for her. Very mysterious indeed. So now there are 12 episodes to go. Now here's a little bit of information for you about the writing of this season. Showrunner Phil Klemmer said he had the idea for this theme of the season way back in season 1. However, when asked to reveal what this theme was, Phil remained tight-lipped. Fair enough, later on it was divulged that there would be aliens in season 6. Phil had said by making the aliens the bad guys, the audience doesn't have to focus too much on understanding why they're bad, because audiences can always just assume that aliens are evil. He wanted the audience to just focus on the emotional stories of our characters. This is a departure from the villains of previous seasons because the writers had to show the audience how and why they were evil. Phil reckons that the show will feature an assortment of motley aliens, and if the first 3 episodes are anything to go by, he wasn't lying. And as viewers have already seen from the last 3 episodes, the main focus of the season will be the crew trying to rescue Sarah from outer space. Sounds good to us. Now to round out our list of what you need to know about season 6 of Legends of the Universe, and here's a fun marketing fact for you. Arrowverse stars wore masks in promotional photos with the caption, "Real heroes wear masks," to help prevent the spread of the illness that is part of the global health situation. Sarah Lance was one of them. Now we think that's pretty heroic. Good job. Okay, that pretty much wraps up everything that has happened so far in season 6 of Legends of Tomorrow. We of course can't wait to tune in for the rest of the season and see what other alien foes pop up, and to see how the crews go about saving their lost leader. We hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.